Alright, YouTube, so we're back, of course, to talk about some Final Fantasy VII, and we are once again discussing Crisis Core Reunion, because we have an update for this game in terms of Tokyo Game Show and kind of what they're going to be doing with the game there, but also a potential release date. So before we hop into it, I do want to do a bit of, kind of clarification from the last video, because there's a bit of confusion that I had towards the end of the video about the schedules and what's happening and stuff. And what it seems like is Square Enix is going to be doing their own shit kind of alongside Tokyo Game Show. They're going to be a part of it for, one little section, right? But for, the couple of days that TGS is happening, they're going to be doing their own, presentations and live streams and all that other stuff. So right here, of course, we have the Tokyo Game Show streaming timetable and shit, and Square Enix is only a part of it for the 16th at 10 p.m. Japan time, of course. And here's the timetable from their own website for Tokyo Game Show, and this is kind of where the confusion came in for me, because we're seeing Square Enix doing shit for TGS, apparently, for, every single day at different varying times. But again, this is pretty much all this shit you're seeing here is stuff they're doing on their own, kind of alongside TGS. And it's really just this section right here, and only the bottom part, the 22, the 10 p.m. Japan time, that's actually a part of the streaming schedule for Tokyo Game Show. Everything before it is shit that Square Enix is going to be doing on their own. They actually already have this live stream up and scheduled, and you can set a reminder for it. I'll have it linked in the description below, and it'll have English, interpretation, English translations, so you can watch it and understand what's happening. But the first 5 hours of this live stream aren't going to be part of TGS, technically, right? This will be, the first 5 hours are going to be Square Enix themselves. It's going to be starting at 1700 hours, 5 p.m. Japan time. It's not until, again, 10 p.m. Japan time that's part of TGS. But if you go back to that schedule we looked at on the 16th, the first thing that's happening at 5 p.m. Japan time is their trailer lineup. So that could have some big shit in it, man. Either way, this live stream that's happening on the 16th, according to the schedule that we have, is going to be going for what seems like 7 hours straight. Because it's starting at 5 p.m. Japan time. The TGS stuff starting at 10 p.m., of course, but according to the TGS schedule, that Square Enix block is going to be going for 2 hours. So midnight Japan time. That's a pretty damn long live stream. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to watch all that. Plus, all the in-between stuff is not really anything that seems to interest me. I might just watch the beginning. It'll be 3 a.m. my time. Watch that trailer lineup. Maybe go back to sleep and then wake up and, catch, the TGS block that's going to be happening at, 8 a.m. my time. So I just want to kind of clarify that really quickly for myself, but also maybe for some other people out there. I know that some other people were confused by these conflicting times and shit like that. On to the Crisis Core stuff. So what we have is we know that Crisis Core is going to be a part of that TGS block. They actually tweeted this out with the official FF7 Twitter account. So they tweeted this out 2 days ago and said, tune in to Aiko Kano's Criticano hit TGS 2022 special episode, live stream on September 16th at 6 a.m. PT, 3 p.m. CEST, featuring Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. Watch the stream with simultaneous English interpretation here, and that link takes you to that live stream I already showed you guys. So this is important for a couple reasons. For one, it's telling us that Crisis Core Reunion is going to be a part of specifically that TGS livestream section, the 2-hour section. The fact that it's a part of the TGS show itself, the live stream that everybody's going to be watching, means it's got to be some big stuff shown for this game. At the very least, either a new trailer, new gameplay, or a combination of both. Now, what I'm not sure of is whether or not that makes it kind of exempt from being a part of other aspects of TGS. For one, the beginning of the live stream, right? At 5 p.m. Japan time is going to be their TGS trailer lineup. So if there's a new trailer for Crisis Core Reunion, would they show it there, or would they save it for the actual Crisis Core section for the Tokyo Game Show livestream? Not entirely sure. They could maybe do both. Show the trailer earlier in the day, show it again at TGS. I don't know. Specifically, it's going to be part of this kind of show/event, whatever you want to call it, with Aiko Kano, who's a Japanese comedian. And according to Zach Kiyo, longtime helper of the channel with all things Japanese, because I don't know shit about Japanese, it's kind of a reaction sort of series that he does, where he kind of plays video games and sort of reacts to them. I'm kind of curious how, serious of a series it is, because whenever I hear about a comedian playing video games and kind of reacting to video games, it sort of makes me think of the Conan O'Brien shit that Conan O'Brien used to do on his show, which was entertaining, but he was also kind of just poking fun at the game the entire time, which is kind of tired if it's a game that you enjoy. And I'm kind of hoping this guy's a little more serious. He's a comedian. It's fine if he makes jokes, not a big deal. But hopefully it's kind of serious, though. Now, putting that stuff aside, it's pretty cool that they're putting a lot of emphasis on Crisis Core. It's well-deserved. I think it's a fantastic game. It's the second best game, in my opinion, in the compilation, not including Remake. If we're talking about, pre-Remake, FF7 and then Crisis Core and then whatever the other games are, you can kind of rank them yourself. Crisis Core is fantastic. It's got a great story. It's got great character development for a lot of characters that are part of the FF7 story. So I'm excited to finally have this on modern platforms and consoles. It's been a long time since I've done a full playthrough of Crisis Core anyways, since my PSP broke. God damn it, I'm never going to get over it. I do find it kind of interesting that they're putting so much emphasis on this game if it really is just a remake/remaster, right? Because they're denying that there's anything new in the game. And I still don't fully know which camp I fall under. They are outright saying that it's nothing new in this game. So it's hard to see that and not believe them. They could just be trying to subvert expectations, kind of try to hide the secret, whatever the new shit's going to be, if there is new shit. But the fact that they're putting so much emphasis on what is essentially just a remake/remaster, kind of interesting. Now, there is going to be a lot of new eyes on this game. The game came out like 15 years ago, and it's never had a port ever. It's only ever been on PSP. So in that regard, I can see why they maybe want to hype it up and put a lot of eyes on it. You also have a lot of like newer players to FF7 from like Remake coming out a couple years back, because a lot of people hopped into the FF7 world with Remake first. Like that's their first FF7 game. Some of them it's their first Final Fantasy game. And it's also the next like Final Fantasy game in general, if I'm not mistaken, right? There's nothing else coming out, no spin-offs or anything. It's just Crisis Core sometime within the winter. And it's also the next FF7 game. Even if they change nothing about Crisis Core, it still does connect to Remake, right? Even if they change absolutely nothing. So in that regard, they might just be hyping the game up in general, just because it's a 15-year-old game that's never had a port, it's the next Final Fantasy game, next FF7 game, etc., etc. There might be nothing to it more than just them wanting to hype this game up because it exists. But given that they're putting so much emphasis on this game, but also the fact that this guy's going to be playing it and kind of reacting to the game or whatever, there's definitely going to be new shit. We're going to be watching him probably play a certain section of the game or a couple different sections. I don't know. There's definitely going to be new shit at TGS for this game, which is awesome. So now on to that potential release date for Crisis Core Reunion. So what we know of this game right now is that it's supposed to release this winter, which is a very vague term. A lot of people think that they're talking about December, which is obviously a possibility, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. But winter is actually very ambiguous. That's like 4 months, right? Winter goes from December all the way till March. So they have like a large window where they could release the game and it would still technically be winter. Same thing when it comes to the release windows for like Final Fantasy 16, which is just next summer. Again, it's a 4-month window. And also Rebirth. Rebirth is supposed to come out next winter, so that could be anywhere from December 2023 all the way to March 2024. Again, they have big windows to release these games. However, the other day we had this account on Twitter, Aibo, post some screenshots from a kind of reputable French website that sells games called C Discount. And according to their website, at least back then, a couple days ago, the game was supposed to drop on the 13th of December. But if you go to the website now, it's showing that the game is dropping on the 31st of December, which is a very, very common placeholder date, right? If the game's on the horizon at any point, if you don't know when it's coming out, it's always December 31st of current year, or next year, or the year after. So in my mind, one of two things happened here. Either they accidentally posted the release date, not realizing that that was not public information yet, and quickly changed it to a placeholder date, or they simply mistyped the placeholder date. Because it just so happens that their initial release date for this game is the exact opposite, so to speak, of the placeholder date. It's 13/1/3 versus 31/3/1. So it is distinctly possible that somebody was trying to type 31 and just accidentally type 13. Like I do it all the time. Somebody like myself who's always on computers and shit like that, like typing words, like often put, letters before they're supposed to be there. Like it just happens when you're typing fast or whatever the case. Now, I'm not really sure which one of those I believe more, but that being said, some other websites do have Crisis Core Reunion posted with a March 31st, 2023 placeholder date, just because that's technically how far they have until they got to release the game, right? So when this website changes their date from the 13th to the 31st, that's still technically incorrect, right? Because the placeholder date should be March of next year. So the fact that they're still having a December release date would kind of insinuate that the game is still dropping this year, sometime in December. Now, as I said previously, though, I wouldn't be surprised if Crisis Core Reunion does drop this year, just because it's actually been a while since we've had like a big release for Final Fantasy. Like the upcoming game is Ever Crisis. Hopefully that's happening very, very soon. But that's a mobile game. It's great. Looking forward to it, but still not a big release, right? And our last major like Final Fantasy release was Stranger of Paradise, which was March of this year. So by the time December rolls around, it'll have been like 9 months since our last Final Fantasy game. So again, wouldn't be surprised if they want to drop it this year. That all being said, it really doesn't matter anyways, because in less than 2 weeks, we're going to have TGS, and I'm almost 100% positive, like 99.9% positive, that we're going to get a release date for this game. With all the emphasis they're putting on it, like if it's coming out in December, that's only 3 months away, right? So they would obviously want to reveal a release date probably now, so people start like buying it and pre-ordering it and shit. But my dudes, that's pretty much the video. So TGS is gearing up to be pretty exciting, right? They're putting a big spotlight on Crisis Core Reunion, which could mean something. It could mean nothing. It might just be a remaster / remake. There could be some new shit. It's hard to say at this point. Hopefully we get some other shit for TGS too. We know Rebirth is going to be there. We know 16 is going to be there. We know Ever Crisis is going to be there. There's a lot of good shit happening at TGS. Hopefully all of it gets new shit. New reveals, new information, whatever the case. Either way, dudes, that's going to be the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it today. Give a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you guys aren't with us today. More Crisis Core Final Fantasy 7 Reunion. Got it right that time, finally. And also TGS information. Turn on notifications. Follow me to dashingdavidbusiness. I'm going to Discord. Links to the networks are in the description and in the outro. Later, guys.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Rogaine, or leave it like Cobain.